everyone. Welcome back to another Tucker Tuesday. What's going on out there, chat? Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's having a lovely, better day than me out there today. Let's see who we got hanging out in the chat. Off rip, Brian, what up? Zobels, the Undead Kaiser, Zach. I didn't hear you, but I could have swore I smelled you. Kiever Dam, Black Tier, what's going on? Caro Soldier, Joshua, Shiru, Eric, what's up, man? Hey, Mike Savage, how's it going? Gen Z, algorithm generated anime girl, nice. Advocates, Deb, Bookworm, hello, Mailman, what's up? This should be a good week, dude. I really hope so. I've had a shitty past couple of days, feeling a little under the weather, but not too bad. Not too bad. We have a bit to go over today too. Is there snow there yet? Oh yeah, we had snow. It's not snowing now, but we have had snow. I prefer Tier of Color Bigot. You're the one who suggested Black Tier. Bad boy, can't stop, won't stop. What up, Always Lost? How you doing, man? Asshole and Dude Whites. Yeah, that was me. Oh man. We have no White Lung. What the hell is White Lung? I never say good week because it turns into a shit week. Well, it could just stay the same week it is, and it'd be about the same, honestly. So, yeah, I'll take it for what it's worth. Boy, oh boy. Do we have stuff to go over? I don't know if anybody's hip to what's going on lately, but have you seen the shit from this guy who was apparently literally my age? HbomberGuy going after a couple of people for plagiarism, but he goes after Internet Historian, the mystery pneumonia from China. No, I've never even heard of that. He goes after Internet Historian, but it is the most bizarre way possible, and people on Twitter are just literally taking this and going, well, yeah, he's a Nazi anyway, so it's okay. He's a Nazi, so yeah, of course he plagiarized things. And I'm not joking, their evidence for him being a Nazi is a 1488 meme. He made jokes about anti-SJWs, or SJWs, I'm sorry. And he has done collaborations with JonTron. And one of the tweets I saw, I think I have it. I think I retweeted it with just laughing emojis. One of the tweets I saw was, you mean to tell me, oh, here it is. Oh, it's perfect. Here's the other one. People are seething about AH because HbomberGuy did a video on him and the reaches are hilarious. Internet Historian apparently gave a fake birthday of April 20th. You know, exactly 1 year after Hitler's birthday because memes. Because memes. You did a Hitler birthday because memes. Oh, okay. Hold on, babe. I am sending over what you need right now. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. There you go. There's this one. Wow, Internet Historian is actually a terrible person. Who would have guessed? Because he is with JonTron. Like, okay. HbomberGuy wanted a scalp for clout and money. That seems to be the consensus on it. But these people are so fucking rabid. Like, I guarantee you every single one of them advocates for actual physical theft. Like, they're okay with the shit in Atlanta and the shit in Seattle, all that. They're okay with that. But I just wish they had the fucking balls to admit they don't like him because he's an anti-SJW. So I tweeted that. I said, honestly, I really wish these people had the balls to admit they don't like, this is why they don't like Internet Historian. Keep in mind, these same people advocate for actual theft. He made a joke about SJW, he bad man. And some of the replies are just so removed from reality. Well, he didn't really talk about him in the video. He only talked about him for like 20 minutes. He drew attention to serious plagiarism. I mean, yeah, also praising Pohl and Tucker Carlson is probably bad. These fucking people, woke scolds, are just unbelievably removed from reality. It's seethe harder. Like this, I appreciate more as a reply. Seethe harder, that's fine. But it's like, no, it's actually about plagiarism. When one of their favorite content creators literally just sits in a chair and lets other people's video play while they make money on it. It's Nazism to like Poland. He made a 1488 joke about the Antifa professor. So then they went all fucking loopy going, look, it's Nazi dog whistling. He's somebody called him a 4chan conservative. But it's like people who just don't prattle on and on about how they're a good leftist is automatically a rightist. I guess I genuinely don't know. I want to take a look at the video though. And the thing that I saw first on this, I don't know if you guys can see it. He has chaptered his video. This is a 4-hour video. He spends about a half an hour or so talking about internet historian. I like ancient China. Does that make me a commie? No, you're a Nazi actually. But he starts his internet historian bit, but he starts it while he's talking about Legal Eagle. So he tries to hide the actual start of the bit because he doesn't want people to know how he intros it, but we'll get to that in a second. But before we do any of that, guys, please smash that like button. Please share it out on your social media, and should you feel so inclined, please consider hitting up the Streamlabs. It is greatly appreciated, and we have all the amazing Christmas donos turned on, and I think we have something like 25 to 30 new donations that you can unlock down below. It is greatly appreciated right now because beginning of the month hit. As I'm talking about this, I love how 2016 to 2018 constantly pissing on left-wing and framing bigotry as criticism. But when someone's right-wing views actually get criticized, being unfunny and in poor taste for a few minutes, suddenly that's too far and unfair. I didn't say that. I just said you're not talking about why you don't like him. It's a lot of pronouns in my mentions right now. Just throwing that one out there. A lot of pronouns are in my mentions. I didn't say his criticism was unfair or uncalled for. I just said it was a stupid criticism. But yeah, smash a like, share it out. Streamlabs listed down below. Whole fuck ton of new awesome donations. The best AWOOOO is back, etc., etc. And let's take a look at what this is. From HbomberGuy, we're just going to focus on him talking about internet historian, plagiarism and YouTube.
Itself deteriorates in the process of producing industrial quantities of content. The mask has fallen and the gears of the mill spin naked before us as they wheel and crunch all.
It's really hard for me to get over the fact that this guy is like 30 years old. Oh, and the stream goal, that's what I wanted to talk about. The stream goal is yeet the woke scolds because these people are a blight on society.
Meaning to dust and Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships. Go to audible.com/repent Harlequin to enter a coma and escape this madness.
Always with the lisps. They always have lisps.
Anyway, thank you for taking the time to reply, Blair. I disagree. I think and go remember my video about all that reaction to 2022, which for me is an incredibly high honor, far higher than all the real awards I didn't win. His second favorite video was Man in Cave by someone called Internet Historian, and that thing got like 10 million views, so I'm not surprised. Personally, I'm not a big Internet Historian fan. Years ago,
he's not a big internet historian fan.
I saw a video of his about DashCon, a failed Tumblr convention, and it was really just a bunch of jokes about SJWs and how bad Tumblr is, and it—
Go figure, the guy who looks like this with a lisp doesn't like people making jokes about SJWs and Tumblr. I, personally, am beyond shocked by this revelation. I don't know how. I'm not saying I believe in phrenology, but sometimes.
It was really disappointing. You know, he had the opportunity to talk about a really interesting moment in history, and he just used it to post cringe. But that video was...
Okay, you guys are familiar with the DashCon video, right? You guys have seen it. Here, I'll show you. I'll bring up the video. I'll bring up the video so you guys can see what he's talking about.
2013, a group of Tumblr users...
I'm going to put it on 1.25.
come up with a brilliant idea. DashCon, a convention specifically for and by Tumblr users.
Well, this is what did it. This is what lit the fire under HbomberGuy's ass, I'm willing to bet.
This is their story. DashCon, hosted at the Renaissance Marriott in Chicago. Only $65 for the weekend. Epic panel lineup. Welcome to Night Vale reading. LGBTQIP2SAA+. Massive ball pit. Steam-powered giraffe live show. The Baker Street Babes. And friendly memes.
I love history, especially Roman history. Well, then you will really like the 2023 donation. That is top 5 for me in the Christmas donations. If you guys haven't seen it, you haven't seen it, it's still questioned out. You'll love it.
Bet. Expect 5,000 people. We'll see you there. Whoosh. Here comes Friday, and a big fat serving of reality. About 500 people show up at 9 AM, but nothing is scheduled until 1 PM, so people just wait around for the next 4 hours.
So at what point did you decide that this is what you wanted to do with your life?
I didn't know this kind of thing happened.
The thug life chose you?
Turns out Steam-powered giraffe cancelled months ago. Sorry. If you bought special tickets, no refunds though. Lol. Check out the games room. 1 TV, 1 console. Perfect for up to 7,000 people. Here's that
You gotta love it.
ball pit you were looking forward to.
Free Palestine! Death to Israel! Death to Israel! Free Palestine!
See, this sounds like some shit that'd be happening today. We've come full circle, guys.
Overall, it's a pretty fucking slow day.
Okay, so you're dressed up as the Batman movie shooter. What made you choose this costume? What made you decide to dress up as the Prime Minister of Israel to this convention?
They say dress for the job you want.
Then by 9 PM, disaster strikes. The bill for the venue hasn't even been paid. The hotel wants it immediately or the doors will be shut and the convention is over.
I'm here at DashCon. Coffee getting taken out. Unless everyone in this room can accumulate $17,000.
We currently have a donation button on our website, and any little bit helps.
I can't believe this actually happened. Like, even looking back on this, it's bizarre.
But they raise the money, and the con continues. Saturday, artists and stallholders who paid $150 each for their tables aren't selling anything because their customers just donated all of their cash. Tumblr's turned on the convention completely.
The destruction of this
convention
is dedicated to all of the women whose
bank account
have been ruined and ruled by it. I'm stealing
money.
I'm tired of you. Making me
Donate to PayPal.
tired of you.
They call DashCon a scam and try to have certain events shut down. Mark Does Stuff, a gay Hispanic panelist,
Hi, I'm Mark.
is sent death threats because they think he's a straight white male who's misappropriating the gay for profit. Pacific Rim is illegally played to an audience of 100. Tumblr sends tweets to Del Toro to get them in trouble. The Dr. Horrible sing-along blog sing-along is cancelled due to copyright concerns. Then, the main event. As long as we get to see a live reading from Welcome to Night Vale, it'll all be okay.
We're doing the live reading of Welcome to the Night Vale. It is 12:50 right now, and they're still not here. Okay, so basically...
Oh, gee. Looking back on it, I can't believe this actually happened. Like, just looking back on what was and what could have been, it's so good. It's amazing.
What?
We're all gonna sign together, okay? So 1, 2.
A family sigh.
While everyone is still sitting in that room waiting for the show to start, they change the rules on the website so that there are no refunds. But don't worry, there's a silver lining. Everyone who paid extra to see Welcome to Night Vale is entitled to a free extra hour in the ball pit.
This is what your
Yes.
$17,000 went to.
And with that, a meme is born.
I don't think they're ready for this one. Jump in the pit.
This is what got HbomberGuy so in his feelings. And this is hilarious.
By the early afternoon, the vendors pack up and leave. Some shitty panels happen.
LGBTQ&A, where they gave us too small of a table and not enough chairs. So pansexual, polysexual, omnisexual, fluid.
Because again, they don't have any cash, they're giving out free hotel mints as prizes. The teenage unpaid helpers, who are promised free meals, aren't given anything and go hungry. There's a full-on organizer meltdown. And Tumblr finds out that the main artwork used for the convention is in fact stolen copyright material. By the evening, the unthinkable happens. The ball pit starts to deflate. And someone pisses in it. Sunday. The ball pit is taken away. Also, Tumblr finds out that Random Acts, a charity that Dashcon claims to be partnered with, isn't in fact partnered at all. Which means, by the way, they've just been pocketing the money. The organizers host an official apology panel.
Part of that is on us. There were a lot of mistakes made on a lot of different people's parts, and we take responsibility for the parts that were us.
We take responsibility for what was our fault. But the rest of it was that internet historian guy's fault. HbomberGuy's going to explain in like 10 years.
But we intend to learn from our mistakes to make 2015 even better.
Here's a quick summary of that.
So they're like, they're like, oh no, like we'll tell them now. So
I blame somebody, otherwise it's all my fault. Fuck that.
And everything is closed by 1 p.m. Since Dashcon, there have been many rumors online that the whole thing was an out-and-out scam. So I did some detective work to see whether
I would personally believe that more than somebody was this incompetent.
It was true. I think what I found proves that even if the staff didn't set out to scam people, they did opportunistically steal and lie. Prepare for some high-quality autism. Dashcon had a written agreement to pay $40,000 plus some change to the Renaissance Hotel Marriott. They paid $20,000 before the thing began, so they had a balance of $20,000 still remaining. They told the hotel that 5,000 to 7,000 people would be attending.
Yes, the best AWOOOO. It really is. It really is the best AWOOOO. Cult. Between Dashcon and Kilroy, I'm thinking people are running cons or scam artists. Where's my bell? That is a, you know, I'm gonna divert real quick. I still have this mixer. And a lot of people have been asking, well, how come you haven't done any Sexy Science Theater in a while? How come none of this stuff's been done? How come you don't have any more guests in studio? Well, honestly, this mixer right here is the issue. What I have plugged into my computer is a Scarlett Solo. It is a 2-input mixer. What I had was a Yamaha MG10XU, and that is a 6-channel input, a 4 XLR input. This is what I used when we did Sexy Science Theater, when we had guests in studio, all that stuff. But this is broken. And I need to get something else, but my computer is set up for Focusrite, so I need to get a Focusrite 4-input thing, and I just can't afford it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to. That thing's a couple $100. But that is why I haven't been able to do any in-person guests like I used to do, all that stuff. But just throwing it out there because I'm just noticing as I was hitting the bell because it was banging off this thing. Anyway, yeah.
And could they please pay as the door sales came in? As a financially risky move, the Marriott agreed verbally but not in writing. On the first day, the hotel sees at most 1,000 people. They know that Dashcon's door sales are fucked, so they enforce immediate payment as per their written contract. Dashcon does not have the funds.
We sat down and recorded the last Sexy Science Theater. I had like 4 guests in studio. Well, me and 3 others or 4 others. And all the audio was just unusable because this mixer's just broken.
Here's where it gets interesting. Dashcon claims they only have $3,000 in cash. So at 9 p.m., Dashcon staff gather everyone into one room to beg for the remaining $17,000. Let's do a head count. 33, 129, 120, maybe another 33 here in case there are people on the margin, and we'll add 10% to be generous. It's unlikely that there are more than 350 people in this room. Now we know they reached their goal.
Almost got shut down.
Really?
We need to raise $17,000.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Did you do it?
Again, the phenotypes.
We did it in under an hour.
Really?
Yeah. They receive donations by PayPal and cash, but only a small fraction in cash. Let's be generous and say 1/10 of the room at most. You can see people donating in the footage, and it's probably much less. So even if each cash donor is giving $20, which again, generous, that's only $700 total. Therefore, the other $16,000 or so is in electronic payments. Now let's look at this leaked list of transactions. Hold on, they made most of their payment in cash, almost $12,000, but they only could have got $700 from the donors, and they only had $3,000 in cash. So where did the rest of it come from? It's door sales revenue, not donations, meaning they lied about only having $3,000 in the first place. They actually had at least $10,000. Now, here are the transactions that come from the PayPal MasterCard. Let's take that from the total owed, and what we get is the following. In a best case scenario, of the donated $17,000, at most, they spent less than
He's bouncing off my booty cheeks, I love the way he rides. I can hardly breathe when he's pumping deep inside. I kiss him on his neck and then he kisses on my pussy. Call him daddy while I holler, man, that boy's so damn good looking.
Amazing. Unlocking the XMAS dono. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Merry Christmas to my fellow sinners in chat. Love all you homos and non-homos. No homo. Thank you so much, Fostonia. Oh, you know it had to be a Christmas donation. You know it had to. Thank you so much.
$7,000 keeping the place.
Damn, knocking us up over 10% to goal. Nice one.
Open. They spent over $2,000 on themselves and their own accommodation. And the remaining $9,000 or so, they pocketed. Also, they're liars.
Because I was on stage for an hour in front of 5,000 people in a room.
Is there 5,000 people here?
Riot.
God, this is just awful.
Back to my post.
But there's one last thing.
Yes, the Shrekussy never goes away.
I want to touch on. As part of the merchandising, an official DashCon DVD is listed. And it's...
Okay, so you get the point. This is what got him so mad. So we're going to draw this back a couple of seconds and pick up where we left off.
DashCon, a failed Tumblr convention, and it was really just a bunch of jokes about SJWs and how bad Tumblr is, and it was really disappointing. You know, he had the opportunity to talk about a really interesting moment in history, and he just used it to post cringe. But that video was eons ago, and I don't like to judge people by super old stuff they made, and a lot of people So this might be dishonest, but I'm gonna power through anyway. I'm just going to go out on the limb here and say that these guys really have no problem judging people based on old content. And clearly he wants it to be in the forefront of people's minds, because if not, then why else would he bring it up? Seems kind of pointless if you don't want to add that into the discussion. But he brought it up for some reason. But these people are so dishonest that they will take literally anything they can and use it against you. Faustoni said, you see that chat? You see that Stream Boss chat? Knock me off, I dare you. You got some pretty good HP there, Faustonia. They'll have to do a lot of dono unlocking to knock you off. And by the way, do you like the name of what I put on the 6550? Really respect seem to like him, so I'm sure he's way better now. Anyway, let's finally watch Man in Cave and see what the hype is all about. No, I mean it. Pull up your phone, open up Man in Cave, and let's watch it together.
Man in Cave was a fucking really good video.
No, just type Man in Cave. It's the top one. It's got 10 million views. Oh, you can't find it?
All right, let's see. Oh, no. Look, he's not being dishonest at all. Top one, right there. Literally, top one. Unavailable, right there. This video was uploaded 2 days ago.
It's not there? As of present recording, Man in Cave mysteriously disappeared months ago and has yet to reappear. What happened to Man in Cave? Man in Cave is about Floyd Collins, a cave explorer who in 1925 got trapped in a cave.
Well, I hope he didn't use any of these words in his script and that somebody else used in their script.
Nice one, Floyd. The video is 1 hour and 10 minutes long and pretty detailed, covering the events hour by hour as they happen. What a unique way of telling the story. The video implies a deep level of research and understanding, and that animation's pretty cool too. The video was uploaded on September 29th, 2022 and was extremely successful, garnering like 10 million views in the few months since it went online. It was deemed so entertaining it became—
All these people are smug, gayest person on YouTube, because they all think that they have the moral high ground when they deem somebody as politically opposed to them.
The thing every Twitch streamer put on while they went and did something else to keep their audience busy. Ooh, that's a good chunk of change right there. But then in March of this year, the video disappeared. Any links to the video took you to a blank page saying it was unavailable because of a copyright claim. Usually with really popular videos though, YouTube resolves this quickly to avoid negative attention, but this was down for a while, and then it stayed down. What's going on here? Let's look into this a bit. This video is no longer available due to a claim by Pro Sportority Limited doing business as Minute Media. That's what DBA means, by the way, aren't I clever? Minute Media is a publisher of digital content. One of their brands is Mental Floss, a digital news and entertainment site, which also has a YouTube channel. So, did he use some of their copyrighted images or the YouTube channel's footage? Well, it doesn't look like the channel has ever covered Floyd Collins. The Mental Floss website, however, has. In 2018, Lucas Riley wrote a story about the 1925 cave rescue that captivated the nation. Uh-oh. This article is an extremely detailed summary of the story of Floyd Collins. Uh-oh. In fact, it makes the unique choice of covering the events hour by hour. Oh, he didn't. He did not just—
Floyd tried to breathe calmly. His left arm was pinned underneath his torso.
So he tried to breathe and his arm was pinned under his torso. All right, let's move. I'm just going to put it right here, and this is my initial thought. It could change. This could change. I'm trying to look at this with an open mind. But saying that his arm was pinned under his torso is a description just because someone wrote it down. 9 times out of 10, when you deal with these massive, giant MCM networks, they will just copyright something, and if you fight it, they will strike it. So I'm going to bet money that after Internet Historian worked it out, I don't think he really changed anything in his video at all, but after he worked it out with the company, everything was okay. He probably had to go to the author then goes to his boss, and then it goes down the line from there. But plagiarism, as claimed by a multimedia channel, it is literally anything. You remember that video I played a couple of times where it's just the black dude with the dogs and the birds, like, all dogs get in a cage? And it's like a 30-second meme. That was claimed by an MCM network, and when I fought it, they said, you either give us the money or we're going to strike your video, and that's it.
His right wedged by the rock ceiling above. Beneath him, sharp crystal shards dug into his skin. When he...
So in his own example, he's not stealing verbatim.
When he did attempt to shuffle, more gravel and rocks would tumble from above.
He said struggle.
And pile onto his feet. He should try untying his shoes, said one.
So they're quoting somebody.
No, we should send him down with a contortionist who's got a mallet and a chisel. Hey.
Again, quotes. These are things people said. Just because some dickhead somewhere wrote it down doesn't mean it's not what they said.
How about using dynamite? One clique formed, insisting that it was a great idea, till they started arguing about gas torches. But by far the most common suggestion, of course, was amputation. So he removes his suit, drapes himself in coveralls, and grabs a lamp. Whoa. But Floyd didn't really answer any of his questions.
At worst, he is rewording this guy's stuff, and half of them are quotes.
Questions. In fact, he was incoherent. So Miller took a few mental notes, and he left. Somehow, Homer mustered the strength to altogether wrench the cord from the other men's hands. The rope went slack. Homer, Floyd, and the rope lay limp on the cave floor. No progress had been made.
For the first time in...
How do you tell a story, then? If it's something like this that is so old, and that there's not a ton written about it, how do you tell a story without inevitably using some of the same words?
In YouTube history, a copyright claim is real. Internet historians stole Lucas Riley's article, used it as a script for a 70-minute video, gave him no credit, and uploaded it for money. But let's consider...
Okay, he probably should have credited the author, said I got most of my material from here. Sure, maybe, I'll give you that.
An alternative explanation, just to be fair. This was a real historical event. They're both telling the same true story, so of course they're going to be similar. That's a good point, you're very smart. But there's a difference between using the same sources or recounting the same history.
Something tells me if this video didn't get millions and millions of views, these people wouldn't be interested in trying to take the money from it. That's just my guess. But this is also why woke scolds are literally the worst people who walk the planet, because they just dig into they're rabid. That was a good descriptor, and I'm going to stick with it. Just like Faustonia is rabid in the chat about being stream boss. He thinks no one can take him out.
And telling the exact same story.
But I think that unlocking some Christmas donos might shut him up.
In the same way, using the same words. And if going hour by hour didn't make it obvious, the fact it copies the rest of the structure makes it blatant.
The fact that it was, like, what is he supposed to go day by day? No, something like this, you go hour by hour, because it's like 100 hours.
Opening, which covers Floyd entering the cave, even uses the same image used at that point in the article.
Yes, because that's the fucking point. That is a guy. This is just some fucking guy that's Wendigoon.
The opening, which covers Floyd entering the cave, even uses the same image used at that point in the article. Soon after, when Floyd first becomes trapped,
let me look at Faustonia in the chat talking all that shit.
The article flashes back to Floyd's childhood. The video copies this narrative framing and does the same thing, flashing back after he's trapped, and even tells the same anecdotes about his past.
Floyd has been exploring the caves of Kentucky since he was merely 6 years old. And as he grew up, he gained a reputation for being a very daring caver. He would dive into some...
So he's telling the guy's backstory of why he felt confident to wedge himself in a fucking cave.
Some hole on one side of town and emerge miles away on someone else's property.
This one's interesting because the words are quite a bit different. Instead, it's copying the article visually by having him literally pop his head out like a gopher.
Yeah, that's the fucking joke. That's the joke. That's the joke. Where's Weibo?
You know how in the previous segments I've been showing all the really obvious examples to get the point across? Man in Cave is over an hour long. If I showed the funniest examples, we'd be here all day.
Gerald knew more about cave rescues than most. In fact, just that summer prior, he had helped untangle Floyd from a different snag. Everybody was shaken by the experience. Burden fainted as he crawled towards the exit. Most of the other men had to be carried away.
Well, there's some verbatim stuff in there, yeah, sure. But you would think the voice acting, the editing, the everything he's doing here might be the transformations.
World of Tanks is not only the best game I have ever played.
Okay, that one was a joke. Sorry, I couldn't resist. There are some differences between the two, though. Internet Historian's video has mistakes. He gets the weight of the rock pinning Collins's leg down wrong. He says it's 33 pounds, while the article lists 27. Every credible source I can find has it listed as around 27 pounds, give or take, and the Wikipedia page lists 26. The rock...
That 5 pounds is going to make a huge difference when it's pinning your leg.
Weighs about 26.5 pounds. How do I know this? We still have it. We've weighed it. It's 26.5 pounds. How did he make this mistake when all his sources, including the one he was plagiarizing, say otherwise? It's almost like when he was loosely rewriting the script to seem more original, he accidentally changed some of the facts of the story. Or maybe it was on purpose. It's slightly harder to say it was plagiarized now. I mean, how could he be ripping anyone off if he got the facts wrong? Man in Cave is also a little confused about the fucking cave? In 1917...
Isn't there a Carlin bit about using your own words? Probably.
Collins discovered a beautiful cave full of stalagmites on his family's land, which he named Crystal Cave. They tried to turn it into a tourist attraction, but this didn't pan out. He then tried looking for a new cave on his neighbor's property, and this is the cave he got trapped in while...
Imagine sitting down, writing down that refutation of a rock weight filming it, editing it, thinking it's totally cool and not at all cringe.
While clearing out, which was later named...
Just like the gopher popping out of the head. Like, yeah, clearly he used it as a script. But what I'm failing to see is why he's bad for it. Sure, he probably could have credited, this is where I got most of my information from. I'll agree with you there. That's literally it, though.
Named Sand Cave once he became trapped. This is covered in the article, as well as being common knowledge about this story. Internet Historian treats them like the same one cave and calls it Sand Cave. So now the story has insane shit, like Floyd advertised.
Okay, you know what? This is taking a lot longer than I thought. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to edit the fucking stream title real quick. If we can get to Tucker, we will later. I'm just going to give the stream title a quick edit.
Sand Cave to tourists, which literally never happened because he died in it before it could open for business. That's what the story is about. This isn't nitpicking. Okay, it is.
This is literally nitpicking. One of the things you said was an indictment of his plagiarism was that he made an animation of Wendigoon's head popping out of the ground like a gopher. That is literally nitpicking.
But this is the cave in Manin Cave. It would be nice if he got the cave right. This is the place most people might...
So he plagiarized, but he didn't plagiarize it well enough for me to be okay with it? Can anybody help me out here, please?
Age are going to learn about Floyd Collins, and it's a shame they're learning history that's not true. Here's a funny thing I noticed, because I'm one of those weird cave people. We prefer the term amateur speleologist, but he keeps using this.
I'm going to check that ratio before I pan hero. Oh, we have 130 watching and 52 likes, guys. Smash that like button. Share it out on your social media, and should you feel so inclined, Streamlabs is listed down below. Anything is really appreciated. Unlock a new Christmas dono. Shin kick Fostonia as hard as you can. That's always a fun time.
Picture to represent the grotto Floyd is trying to reach.
On the other side is this. Until he found this hollow.
This isn't a picture of that hollow. There are no pictures. No one's even seen it apart from Floyd. And because I'm insane, I recognize this picture. It's from the website of Crystal Onyx Cave in Kentucky, which is about 12 miles away from the mammoth cave system the video is talking about. This cave is often confused.
So he used a picture for something that didn't exist. Got it. Yes, people from Phoenix are Phoenicians.
Used with other nearby caves because the names are similar and they're so close by. So it's an understandable mistake to use this image instead of one from the right cave system.
But you're going to use it anyway as an indictment because you don't like Internet Historian. Just be honest. That's all I want.
But I do find it really funny. A picture being used to represent part of Mammoth is from a site whose title reads, "We're not Mammoth." Like, they tried to warn you, buddy. And I saw people congratulate this video for the effort that went into it. I assume they're talking about the animation, which is pretty decent. Internet Historians...
The animation is decent. Now let's just take a look at this animation that he will call... That he will, be generous enough to call decent.
Why didn't we rig a portable telephone line? That would have been incredibly simple here in 1925.
Yeah, why have we been running in and out to deliver updates? Why didn't we give him an AM radio? He could have had something to listen to and receive messages of support from the public.
Wait, why don't we rig up a tarpaulin so we could lift his torso up so he wouldn't be slowly dying of exposure?
Oh god, why didn't we run a feeding tube? That's also a technology we have in 1925.
All too late. Now what?
Decent.
The one
It's
route
okay.
to get to Floyd.
It's decent. It's not great. It's decent animation.
Don't cut my foot off.
Homer could have easily ignored all of this pointless bickering, except that not one of them would just brave the damn cave.
It's decent.
The team did a good job with this, especially considering its length, a compliment I've received myself many times. That's one reason why this is all so disappointing.
Stop it.
This could have been good and not been stolen. We can do both. Riley is a really talented writer and researcher. He was the articles editor for Mental Floss back when it had...
Can you, I'm not even going to make the obvious joke there.
A physical magazine, with folks who worked on it calling him its beating heart. Riley is a very well-regarded, award-winning writer.
Oh, you're reading somebody else's words. Is this not plagiarism as well?
With a skill for telling gripping stories.
Oh, maybe all you had to do was source, right?
And I can tell Internet Historian agrees with me, so it's a shame he gave him no credit for his work, even as it contributed to what must have been a huge amount of income for him, doubtless more than Riley ever made for writing it in the first place. Internet Historian sometimes cites his sources when they come up. He'll have text saying where it's from, and that's a good practice, but this makes his choice to never cite or mention Riley obvious. He's trying to hide it. Sometimes the way he tries to look like he's done research and wrote this video himself is very funny. There's a bit where he's reading the article out loud, as usual, then pauses and acts like he's about to read something else and just keeps reading the fucking article.
Near the final squeeze, large cracks had formed. The ceiling was beginning to droop. Alright, so the following is a recounting of events from one of Carmichael's men, Casey Jones. Casey and another worker spent about an hour in the cave, but he heard Collins moaning ahead.
So he isn't just reading it out loud, he is prefacing it, and he's telling you that it's a recounting of the events. So he has actually not made any attempt to make people believe that he has written this script himself. I'm gonna hit my vape on that one. Holy shit. This video is so much worse than I thought it was going to be. This is so much. I thought we were going to see paragraph on paragraph on paragraph of him reading verbatim somebody else's work. But no, that's not what we're getting at all. We're just getting a bad like ratio.
So he pushed himself on. He managed to make it through the squeeze and he arrived at the 10-foot pit.
He threw the squeezes in there, yeah?
Seeing Floyd trapped, he tried to ignore the pebbles that were tumbling behind him.
Internet Historian wants you to think he's telling you a story he made after doing a lot of research.
He just said, I'm reading the recounting.
He doesn't want to read you a good story he found. He wants to pretend he wrote it. But this, the obvious fact it's...
Okay, honestly, have you guys seen anything that make... And let's be as generous as we possibly can. Have you guys seen anything that would make you think that he is trying to make people think that he wrote this script?
Plagiarism, and it's wrong, that's the easy stuff. What's interesting is what happened next. I've been standing on my feet for ages. I'm gonna have to sit down.
Okay, I want to see something. I'm genuinely curious. If he is so morally worried about people stealing copyrighted content, the twist you expected. Okay, no, not there. No. No. Nothing there. No. 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 Now, obviously, I'm not going to sit down and watch this whole 4-hour video, so I could be missing it. But I'm not seeing anything about Hassan Piker in here, the guy who literally makes a living on doing Twitch, and he is famous. Literally, he is known for his non-reacts.
That's better.
This is what jealousy looks like. The only thing Internet Historian did not do was credit. Yeah, I agree. He should have credited. That's fine. I agree with that.
This is my living room where I keep all the books I pretend to have read, and also my board games. Yes, I'm one of those people. I even...
That is the least shocking thing I've heard in this video so far.
Have a board game about caving. This is...
He makes a 2-minute joke. Do you have a timestamp for that? I'm not going to sift through 4 hours of stuff on stream for a 2-minute thing.
Quite hard to find nowadays, so I had to get it from Germany. They love board games there because they're not afraid to look one another in the eye. I can't wait to spiel this cave game. For my money, that's the best joke I've ever written. Hold on, we're doing a video about plagiarism. Let's get this set up properly. Aha! But then... This is a whole style of video now, and by style, I mean one person did it first and then a bunch of boring people ripped her off. Stealing from lots of places is inspiration, but stealing from one place is plagiarism, unless you call it the...
Yes, using red and blue lights is plagiarism. Using red and blue lights is plagiarism. Photographers have not been doing this for years, decades even. Sound and stage engineers have not been using red and blue lights forever.
Bread tube style, and then it's fine. I don't even know what a bread tube is. I just woke up one day and was told that I was in it and that people hated me for being in it. I don't even know what it is. Anyway, when someone from Mental Floss noticed the plagiarism and filed a copyright claim, Internet Historian tweeted about the video's disappearance, but in a kinda suspicious way. He obviously knew why it...
So he admitted that it got claimed. One of the things that they fucking bitched about, all I've fucking seen on Twitter is people saying that he tried to hide the fact that it got copyright claimed. He tweeted out that it got claimed. Oh, Jesus Christ. Then throw 10% to the center. Man, I could use 10% right now. I'm getting fucked over.
Got claimed, but he chose not to.
I need to get a light replaced on my truck. I'm not getting into it. It's a pain in the ass.
To say why, so his audience could freely speculate amongst themselves for hundreds of posts about all the ridiculous reasons YouTube takes things down. Some of them noticed Pro Sportority is based out of Israel and got anti-Semitic about it, but
I thought that was the cool thing to do, is to not like Israel right now.
Ironically, so it's fine. What an interesting audience he's built. All this...
So if I go to this guy's Twitter, he'll be very pro-Israel. That won't be a problem at all, right?
Needless speculation has helped to create a smokescreen. People assume the video was taken down for a bullshit reason and there is no clear explanation, when there is one and he didn't give it to them on purpose. Internet Historian has taken videos down before. A lot of them, in fact, like dozens. None of these seem to be because of plagiarism. He says he just doesn't think they're very good anymore. I think he got a bit...
Sin 105, 105, 105, 105, 105.
The people who are in this for the money are engaged in a constant race to the bottom to find the easiest possible content to make and still get paid for it. If you're a nerd, and look at you, you've been recommended a YouTube short where a robot explains what happens in a comic.
The sad story of Rocket Raccoon, the drunk who knew Batman's identity after Homelander lost his mind.
These float to the top because there's...
I didn't read any of the fucking Invincible comics, or boys comics.
Catchy names, and there's hundreds of them, so they get recommended to everyone even though nobody likes them. My favorite insane content farm stuff is when an AI explains the plot of a movie to you, but the title is "A Woman Wakes Up Covered in Bees" or something.
Welcome back to Movie Recaps. Today I will show you a drama fantasy film from 2018, titled Be With You. Spoilers ahead.
These are so perplexing, they wrap back around to being performance art. He has only 3 organs left, but the scientists turn him into a super soldier. It's RoboCop! An AI voice explains the plot of RoboCop to you! Incredible! But if something becomes successful, even if it's something this weird, people are going to try and do the same thing, especially if it's easy to crank out, like an AI recapping a film.
The opening scene features a guy
Where's the joke?
Who finds himself confined within a large cube.
The opening sequence introduces a prologue. After this, the chaos caused by the Egyptians is depicted.
Today, I'm going to explain a film based on the real-life story of the youngest warrior of World War II called Soldier Boy.
Today I'm going to explain the horror zombie film, titled Warm Bodies.
And walked over to the man. When the man saw it, he was still cursing at his wife.
The Dog King is gathered
today. Very system nicely with ripping people off, if not outright plagiarism. And right in the middle of this ecosystem are reaction videos, where people just upload themselves reacting to other people's videos. The money almost makes itself. Reaction videos are a key piece of the Illuminati puzzle here, because that was Blair's previous content mill.
Was that it? A little screenshot of Hassan's empty chair?
A few years back, reacting to Reddit posts was a popular format.
That's it. That's the whole thing? Is a literal 2-second bit? But that stuff's okay. That's perfectly fine. That doesn't need to get mentioned in the video at all. People like Hassan and XQC who just let videos play while their audience pays them and they fuck off, that's perfectly fine. But this Internet Historian reading about a story that is not super well talked about, so there's probably very few sources on it. That's what took it too far. Whew. Jesus Christ.
Of what we in the business call trolls remorse. Like, oh, maybe this video was inappropriate and normal people would judge me for it. And he got rid of that video that's just a bunch of Tucker Carlson clips and reading a hentai in an extremely racist Japanese man impression. That's not advertiser friendly, and we want those World of Tanks bucks, don't we?
Oh, fuck, the ads again. How many times has he brought up the advertisers? That's a good-ass question. How many times has he brought up the fact that this video had an ad in it? I'm very curious about that. Just like I'm very curious why you guys are okay with Fostonia being stream boss and most of you haven't hit the like button or shared it out. That's also very curious. So guys, smash a like, share it out, and kick Fostonia in the shin.
But since his fans are, you know, normal, cool people, they saved all those old videos, and there are several channels dedicated purely to re-uploading all his old, inconvenient stuff. And some of them tried to re-upload Man in Cave, and instantly got hit with a copyright claim as well, because the video is in YouTube's system now. Here's a screenshot that was posted of one of these claims. The infringing video blatantly and unlawfully plagiarized
That is legal speak.
Verbatim text from our article, and the placement, pacing, and presentation of content is almost identical to the article. Speaking from experience, normally claims aren't anywhere near this detailed. The article's owners are not messing around.
Yes, they literally are. Hold on. Maybe, let me see if I can prove it. Hold on. It does just kind of reek of jealousy, doesn't it? I don't want to say that that's what it is, but it certainly seems like there's a little bit of that at play here. Seems like, okay, here we go. From last week's Tucker, copyright claim, see details. Remember, guys, they don't go into specifics like this. But here's the details on this one. They don't go into specifics very often. Oh, look at that. It's not like it's not just a bog standard thing that these people just put on there. No, they don't go into specifics. Shut up.
This is how we found out about the plagiarism. Kat was browsing her drama Reddits, as she does a lot, and she saw a post with this smoking gun in it. It's amazing how easy it is for a story like this to not get...
Fastoni says, go ahead, folks, do one better. Go ahead, kick me in the nuts. I'm not using them anyway. Oh, boy. I just smashed like at number 69. Nice.
Spread to a wider audience, even when it's for a video this popular. The furthest the story has got so far is a thread proving it, just sitting in a random subreddit with like 90 upvotes. If Kat hadn't seen this, I wouldn't be talking about it, and you wouldn't know it happened either. So, thanks, Kat. You're so cool. I love you. Most YouTubers in this situation would fight a copyright claim publicly, arguing their case where everyone could see it, which would force YouTube to take notice and do something about it. People at YouTube on Twitter all the time and get responses and see things fixed.
Yeah, who? When? What? I remember adding YouTube about Nader getting his dick sucked on live stream and they ignored me. YouTube doesn't respond.
Tweeted randomly about an old test video I deleted getting copyright claimed somehow. I didn't even at YouTube about it, and they still found it and asked me for more information. They're pretty diligent about responding to people messaging them on social media with problems. Internet Historian can't start a public case about this because he is in the wrong. He stole an article for money, and bringing attention...
Yes, this is proof that he is in the wrong. The proof that he is in the wrong is that they're going with what the company who wants the money said. That's the proof. That's the proof.
Attention to it would just broadcast to his audience he did 70 minutes of plagiarism. Right now, not many people know about this, although some of his viewers have noticed how strange it is he's avoiding talking about it. Why isn't he telling...
He did. He said it got claimed.
His audience who to get mad at and go after. Why...
Who else would claim the video?
Isn't he giving his completely normal fans marching orders? Because he ripped someone off and he doesn't want you to find out. That's why. In May, 2 months after the video disappeared, a new version was uploaded, claiming to be a re-upload of the previous one. But then, 2 days later, it went private. On the Internet Historian Reddit post about the re-upload, the big guy himself wrote about there being some complications. Again, being vague about what's going on. This new version would remain private for about 2 months. It's not clear why. In July, while I was making...
I was expecting a lot more blatant fucking proof. Like, he stole paragraph after paragraph, verbatim, word, sentence, chapter, verse, maybe even art or stuff used in the video. But he didn't reword it well enough, and also didn't credit the author. You want to talk about not crediting the author, that's fine. Okay, I'll agree with you. There, boom. Okay. But this is an indictment of nothing.
Happy Christmas. It's Christmas. Merry Chrysler. Merry Chrysler.
Slaps Fostonia around a bit. No homo. I assume not homo, but thank you so much, Luna. I appreciate that. It's a lot of speculation in here and not a lot of meat to the claim. If it was so bad, it would have been easy to prove. But what he keeps doing, let me annotate this. Happy CRYSTL. One of the main indictments he has is that Internet Historian tried to hide it when he never tried to hide it. He said it got claimed, and I'm working on it. What else was he supposed to say? Well, it got claimed. I actually sold the video. Why would he admit that? First off, even if he did, why would he admit it? It's mind-boggling. Just the lack of actual thought being put into this, because he just wants to dunk on Internet Historian. And okay, if you want to make the argument that, yeah, no, I dislike that he stole, fine, we can have that conversation. But that's not the conversation we're having, is it? The conversation is that he started the conversation
Hello, this is Santa, and I'm here to tell you that I eat millions of cookies each year. And yet I'm still not as morbidly obese as your mother.
Finn Germabutt. Thank you so much, Finn Germabutt. What's this do? Well, he's still not as morbidly obese as your mother.
This video, it finally...
It's just the fucking... It's dishonest, at the very least. It's dishonest. Did he credit Internet Historian in the description? No, he didn't. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. That's very interesting. Is it plagiarism too then? Food for thought.
Came back up, but only...
I was going to go on a huge rant there, but the morbidly obese mom kind of broke my concentration. Still millions of cookies. ... Safe.
Unlisted. You can watch it, but it doesn't show up in a search or your recommendations. You can't watch this video now unless you know it exists and go looking for it and get the link from...
You can't watch it unless you know it exists. Man in cave. First video. Right there. Pops up. First video. It doesn't exist.
Somewhere else. This new version has quite a few changes. It opens with this new clip explaining what happened, but in the vaguest way possible.
Okay, let's watch it ourselves instead of
the
his thing, because I don't trust what he's saying about this.
Sorry for the re-upload, fellas. The original got copy struck. RIP. But don't worry, we are working on new main channel videos. Here's a sample of the timelines in
the original got copy struck. What else is he supposed to say?
Sorry for the re-upload, fellas. The original got copy struck.
Again, we have a comment about it being copy struck, but no explanation why. He's still hiding.
Does he have to? Okay, hold on. Back it up. Hold on.
In the vaguest way possible.
Sorry for the re-upload, fellas. The original got copy struck.
Again, we have a comment about it being copy struck, but no explanation why. He's...
It got copy struck, but he didn't explain why it got copy struck. He's withholding this information from me. What the fuck? What does that even mean? No, he's hiding. It got copyright struck. He's hiding what happened. It got copyright struck, guys. I had to take it down. He's hiding it. What? Why are you being so dishonest? By the way, thank you guys for getting us up to a little over 20% to goal. I appreciate that. Keep unlocking those donos. They're so good.
Still hiding what happened in a pretty sneaky way this time.
It's sneakier now. It's sneakier because he said it got copyright struck. Am I the only one going fucking mad here? Am I the only one what? Am I the only one going mad here? It got copyright struck. He's being sneaky. He said it got copyright struck. Oh, he's being sneaky about it.
You see, this graphic of the copy strike has been edited. The notice on the video actually looks like this. It shows who...
Okay. Yeah. It says copyright claim. Sorry. Miss Sin decides that the best time to feed me is right during a show.
Made the copyright claim, but obviously he doesn't want people looking up the company behind it because then people will find out why the video is unavailable. So now he's editing screenshots to try to hide what he did. The re-upload uses mostly the same animation and tells the same story, but lots of...
This, at best, what's happening here is HbomberGuy 56709. A cult to curl. Imagine the entitlement to demand every single detail of every single claim strike that someone gets, but only when it's somebody you don't like. That's when you demand every single detail. Well, he's being sneaky. He's not telling us exactly why or exactly how, so he's hiding it. This is entitlement, and this is deceptive at best. Like, hold on, let me pull it back. Listen again. Thank you, Cult, for the 777.
The copyright claim, but obviously...
Or maybe he doesn't want his people going after the people who did it. Because if... This video just sounds like a nothing burger. I agree, but I would like to point out that this is just like a half an hour in a 4-hour long video. So it's not the main meat of his video. But the thing is if he had put it up and said, this company said I stole their material, and people went and attacked them, this part would have been extended out, and he would have been blamed for sending his alt-right Twitter Nazi mob after an Israeli company. 100%. Because when they did figure it out and people made jokes about Israel, he went right for it.
He doesn't want people looking up the company behind it because then people will find out why the video is unavailable. So now he's editing screenshots to try to hide what he did. The re-upload uses mostly the same animation and tells...
Thank you, Looney Lenny. The video sounds like a nothing burger. I mean, it really is.
The same story, but lots of the voiceover has been rewritten to try to sound less like the article. Here's a section I showed you earlier.
His left arm was pinned underneath his torso.
So we're just going over what we went over again for reasons?
His right wedged by the rock ceiling above.
Now here's the HD remaster.
His right arm is wedged against the roof of the cave, and his left is stuck in place underneath his torso.
He flipped the order he talked about the arms and reworded how he talked about them. He hasn't...
So he reworded it. He worked it out with the company, with the author, and made the changes. And we're still complaining? Like, I genuinely don't understand. What the fuck does this guy want? Ugh. You know what I want? You know what I really want? I want to see that $60 donation. I haven't seen it in like a year, and I want to see it again.
Really solved the overall plagiarism. He just changed the words more than last time.
Beneath him, sharp crystal...
So he changed the words more, but it's still plagiarized because I don't like him. Thanks, man.
Shards dug into his skin. He can feel the sharp crystals on the ground poking into his back. Floyd tried to breathe calmly. Floyd took slow, steady breaths, so he removes his suit, drapes himself in coveralls, and grabs a lamp. Miller thinks for a moment, then says, "Yeah, all right." He grabs a lantern.
In the past.
Okay, so you're still mad about him doing the thing that you wanted him to do. I hate these people.
We've seen people reword stuff they stole and hope they don't get caught. But now we're getting a special treat. We get to watch someone go back and try to change it even more. Like, no, we already know you stole this now. You can't take it back and pretend you...
So you can't fix the issue. Once you've committed a bad, you're always a bad. Got it.
Didn't.
But Floyd didn't really answer any of his questions. In fact, he was incoherent. So Miller took a few mental notes, and he left. But Floyd didn't really answer any of his questions. There's nothing Miller can do. So he hurriedly turns around. Homer, Floyd, and the rope lay limp on the cave floor.
So, are you not allowed to know information that comes from another person? Apparently not. Not if you use the same verbiage and cadence when you talk about it, then you're really not allowed to know. Genuinely have no idea right now, honestly.
Floyd fell back down. Homer, Miller, Burden, and the other three men were flat on their backs.
I want to get across how much worse written this version is. Riley's article has a chilling section about Floyd spending an entire day trapped screaming for help. He began a tormenting routine. Sleep, wake, scream. Sleep, wake, scream. Sleep.
So, not only that, but he's saying that he changed it, but it's worse now that he changed it.
Wake, scream. Minutes melted into hours. His voice disappeared. His arms tingled numb. Pain radiated up his ankle. This is vivid storytelling. I can feel myself going in...
Not today, old friend. But don't worry. Holidays are just around the corner.
Internet historian to right-wing pipeliner, thank you for the 1927. This seems like quite a bit of a rate just to be angry at someone supposedly far right. I think that's what it is. I think that's all it is. They're trying to be mad at someone they deemed as right-wing. He makes 4chan jokes. He's a conservative. He didn't like that Antifa professor who tried to kill someone with a bike lock. Moe's Christmas tie. There we go. Bang. Save.
Insane, even imagining being trapped there for 25 hours. It's a really good passage. Internet historian liked it too, so he stole it.
He's at the start of a very tiring loop. Sleep, wake, yell. Sleep, wake, yell. Hours passed. His voice gave in. Arms tingled numb. Pain radiating up his ankle.
Okay, so what... This is what happened. This is what happened. And he... Oh, shit. You know what? This is what happened. He's also angry about him featuring the alt-right Boogaloo Boy Wendigoon in the video. That's true, too. That's true. No idea what game to play while I listen to this. Clearly Lethal Company. Are we down to play again Friday? I want to get more people. Ed said he's going to try. We have Drunkle and Sam in the chat. Are we playing Friday after the show? We'll try to get some more people in on it, too. Excuse me. It's a damn fun game. But I didn't know you could have like 8 people in.
Here he remained in the...
But he does it. But then does it. He's not doing it. He's quoting.
Dark for the next 23 hours.
Now, in the remake, he has to tell the same story, but with completely new words, so we get this.
So there's Floyd in the dark, yelling out for help. Yelling into the pitch black. After a while, his voice would give out, and he would have to sleep to recuperate. He would then wake sometime later, remember where he is, and begin yelling again for help. Here he remained in the dark for the next 23 hours.
It's just not as effective. The feeling of being stuck in that cycle for dozens of hours is gone. It's quite difficult to...
So he changed it. He still stole it, but he changed it, and it wasn't as good, so he should have just kept the stolen one. What a fucking piece of shit this guy is. Holy shit.
Take a story you got from an article and tell it again without using any of the words you liked.
Floyd has been exploring the caves of Kentucky since he was merely 6 years old.
Oh, I guess I can't mention Kentucky now. That makes it obvious. Better re-record.
Floyd started his caving career at the tender age of 6.
Some of the changes give away how uncreative he was, just how much he relied on Riley's work even with the most basic shit. He used his words about someone's hands being bruised and purple.
Parts were harder to navigate than before, especially now with their bruised and purple hands.
So in the new version, this had to be changed.
Parts were harder to navigate than before, doubly so with their bruised and rock-shredded hands.
Why would you not just write a new description of some hands in the first place?
Okay, so their hands are bruised and hurt from rocks. He could have completely reworded this to say something akin to, their hands were completely destroyed, bruised, and cut by rocks. And he would still put it in here because he's just describing the hands.
This is so lazy. What is wrong with this guy? And despite all these changes, the factual errors about the cave and the rock are still the same. It's like this version was made to annoy me. It's especially hard to make major changes when you already made the anime.
Yeah, no one's going to bring that up, where he literally just took a story and made a cartoon about it, the My Immortal, because that one was funny. This was a serious video made funny, but you know, it's totally fine.
It's almost impossible to remove Lucas's influence without doing so much work it's not even worth it. For example, the gopher section has been completely removed since it was directly copying an anecdote from the article. He's replaced it with a new segment, which is just C-tier reference humor.
He would go off on his own, disappearing into the caves for many hours at a time. Have you seen that movie, The Descent? It was a lot like that.
Holy crap, Lois, this is just like that movie. Some of Riley's article was too short and simple to meaningfully change, so those parts have just been taken out.
And all they could do was leave for now.
This is so bizarre. This is so fucking bizarre. We're at like 25% to go, but this is so fucking bizarre. He did it and I don't like it, but then he fixed it and I still don't like it, so fuck him.
And reassess. Everybody was shaken by the experience. Burden fainted as he crawled towards the exit. Most of the other men had to be carried away, and all they could do was leave for now and rest.
Since it can't use any of the clever words it stole anymore, the whole thing's been dumbed down.
Now, Floyd was trapped in a supine position. So Floyd is trapped laying down like this.
Imagine sitting down to watch your favorite...
People are trying to say that he stole his Cost of Concordia video too, and I'm not exaggerating. If I could find the tweet, I would. I'm not exaggerating. They say that he stole it because he described the couple as South Korean. That's it. That's literally it, yeah.
Show and the streaming service has replaced it with a different cut where all the characters talk like idiots now.
You made me look bad, and that's not good.
I feel bad for the people who enjoyed the original. People in the comments and on the Reddit page are asking why he changed it and why all their favorite lines are missing. They don't know why because he didn't tell them. Why is the new version of the video unlisted and not public? Well, it could be because it's...
Does he need to? Does he need to do that? Why?
A lot worse, but mainly, by being so much worse, it kind of gives away what he did. This video's fans obviously want it back up, but if it goes back up and it's obviously much worse written now, the 10+ million people who saw it the first time, potentially even more than once, will wonder why it's different and look into why and maybe find out. But if it stays down, people will wonder why it's down and look into why and find out. It's like he's trying to delay the inevitable wider discovery of what he did by letting the...
Trying to delay it by saying that it got copyright claimed and that he's fixed it. That's delaying it and hiding it.
Video exist, but as quietly as possible, so no one wonders where the video went, but not too many people see it and know...
Oh, babe, he's mentioned how many views the video got. Like 20 times so far. At least 20 times.
Notice the differences. It's a precarious situation and I don't envy him, but he does deserve it. Right now he looks like a plagiarist and a liar, and a coward who's willing...
You look dishonest and like you just are mad about Internet Historian being Internet Historian. That's what it looks like to me. but I'm not going to come on here and say that as a fact.
To ruin his own video and let it gather dust unlisted in the corner to try and hide what he did.
Not only that, but he's lying. The video is up currently on his channel. You type Man in Cave, it's up live right now. He's lying. This video was released 2 days ago. He is lying about this. This was 7 months ago. This video, 2 days ago.
To be fair, the new version now actually cites Riley's article. Whenever a section was too difficult to change, but too significant to remove, he keeps it in and cites the article at the bottom. In the original, there were several places where he quoted the same sources Riley quoted, and in this version, just to be safe, he also cites the article to make it...
So he quoted the... So Riley quoted articles, and IH quoted those same articles, but this guy was such a fucking dickhead that he had to quote the re-quotation. This is... I expected so much more from this video. This has got to be one of the worst YouTube expose videos I've ever seen.
Clear that's where he got it. The description of this version also acknowledges the talented Mr. Riley and links to his work. This would have been cool if he'd done all this the first time and not tried to hide it, but this is like if Philip re-uploaded a very slightly changed version of the plagiarized videos and just put "Thanks to Boomstick Gaming" in the description. It's too late to hide what he's done, though that hasn't stopped him from trying. Oh, late breaking update. A couple weeks ago, the Man in Cave re-upload became public again. I wondered how he would stop people noticing.
I wonder why you waited till the very end of your bit on him to say this.
Its weird changes. Then, days later, he uploaded this year's new video, so people's attention is onto the next thing now. The only people who really noticed the video coming back are the hardcore fans. This was...
I love that. I love that. Oh boy.
Was a real clever boy move. If I wanted to sneak my weirdly changed re-upload back out without too many people noticing, this is how I'd do it, and all I'd have to do next was hope no one ever makes the video I'm making right now. Oops. Right, my eyes have gone.
Yes, I'm very sure that Internet Historian was quaking in his boots hoping HbomberGuy didn't make an expose on him. I am absolutely flabbergasted by this. And again, I feel like I need to bring this up again. This guy's my age. He looks like he's 50.
Fuzzy, so it's time to get back up. Ah, my knees really hurt too. Okay, I threw out an IKEA Poang to make room for this beanbag chair, and it's rubbish. I love sacks full of balls, but not this much. Don't get a beanbag chair. Oh, God. Jesus. Hey, the mic's still out of frame. That's nice, that never happens. I don't know, a proper apology would be nice, and maybe an explanation for why it happened. As far as I can tell, this is the only...
He did! He said it was copyright struck!
...video where he's just ripped something off like this. I hope. You know, why did he do it for this one? Really?
He said it got copyright claimed. He said that originally. He said it in the re-upload. He said it!
I just want to know where he got £33. I'm a simple man with simple needs, Yorkshire puddings with a little bit of gravy on top, and explanations for discrepancies in numbers. My parents never took me to see a psychologist, so I assume that's normal. In the meantime, I'm very happy to accept the award for Jack's Film's second best video of 2022. The version from 2022 is gone. Get it off the list, Jack. Bump me up. Now, what's the first place one? And
okay, is he just done talking about Internet Historian? It's weird. I've got a theory. He put this bit in here as a way to smokescreen the fact that he does go after some other creators in this video. But he put this Internet Historian bit in here as a way to smokescreen that he's going after leftist creators because he knows that the Twitter mob and all these people are going to focus on Internet Historian. I haven't seen any of these other things trending on Twitter. I haven't seen shit about Cinemassacre, Illuminati, Jack's Films. any of that. I haven't seen any of that shit. It's all been Internet Historian. Internet Historian has been trending on my Twitter feed for like 3 days. I'm sure if I go look right now, he is too. My tweet's at like 700 something fucking likes. Yeah, it's 691. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, not trending actually. Wow, it's the first time in like 3 days he hasn't been trending. But 100%. I think that he put Internet Historian in there because he knew that's the one that people were going to latch on to. This was a bad video. This was a bad video. I'm... I can't believe Man in a Cave is IH plagiarized. Yeah, look, Palestine, colonialism, free Palestine from colonialism. Quote cheats my tweet and says, I can't believe Man in Cave was IH plagiarizing someone else's work. They quote tweeted my tweet to say that. Dude's Twitter account's like a year old. Okay, that's fine. This... I regret watching this and I have contracted cancer. I thought this was just going to be a little like half-hour side note, but I didn't realize this was going to be the whole goddamn video. I thought Wendigoon was an incel. I didn't realize fully, but oh, Jesus Christ. These people are out of their mind. Oh, Mailman, why did you put this on my feed? Why did you put this? How dare you? Can we never watch this cancer again? I'm going to vote for yeah. I'm going to vote for yeah. Never. HbomberGuy is not allowed on stream till the next time he makes a video that I really want to cover. HbomberGuy not allowed on my stream anymore. Yeah, can we get a vote in chat? I've been feeding my cancer for years. It's fine, guys. I mean, he does look like a big fucking tumor. Accusations of plagiarism are precisely like copyright strikes are. The jelly baby is actively trying to pretend they're not. Somebody resets it. Let me look at this shit. Mailman just put this on my screen. Oh, it is. Wendigoon is the next target. Don't get it wrong. He is the next target because he's another guy who does not actively prattle on about how good, virtuous, and left wing he is. So he's the next target. He obviously has some right-wing feelings. I mean, everyone who watches a video for more than 5 minutes can tell Wendigoon's a little bit right-leaning, if not just his love of the Second Amendment. I thought Wendigoon was just an incel. I didn't realize he was a fully blow neo-Nazi who loves Kyle Rittenhouse. No, I'm genuinely scared shitless of what he might do. Me when an internet celeb I hate for no reason, annoying, blah blah blah. I forget the yeah. When I hate somebody without a reason, then I find a reason why. He is apolitical, more or less. I know he's a devout Christian, so that's all. I know he is a devout Christian, so that's already sus. And I don't love his name, and that always made me a bit hesitant. Definitely reconfirms my feeling that if I feel some kind of way about a white man, just steer clear. Oh, Jesus Christ. Apolitical just means alt-right. These people are not real. These people are not real. I'm just tweeting that out. Are we seeing a reintroduction of the woke scolds from like 2015, 2016? Are we seeing a reintroduction of this? Because I'm here for it. That was some of the greatest content ever made. Kyle Rittenhouse was morally, legally vindicated by the side. I mean, he was morally and legally vindicated, and he was morally and legally correct in what he did too. Oh my God. I got nothing else. His fisty splinters coming back. I don't know. That's enough of this. Let's take a look at this Tucker interview a little. We'll watch it first a little bit, and then we'll finish it up next week. We got like 20 minutes or so left.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
1.25.
We need to roll back the state. We spy on all of...
And I texted you all the time. You never mentioned it till yesterday. I was like, of course.
I was working up the courage, little by little.
Does that mean Drunkle's going to start doing videos again? No.
Ask you on my show. Well, you text me to like say like a nice thing, like, hey, I really liked you on this. And then I feel like kind of being a jerk if I'm like, oh, can you do something for me?
Oh, I was totally...
We'll watch 15, 20 minutes of this, see if it's worth the whole video or not. But before we get into it, guys, if you're going to dip out, that's cool too. Thank you for hanging out. But please smash a like. Please share it out. And if you want to help us yeet these fucking woke skull pieces of shit a little bit farther, you know how to do it.
Honored. Are you kidding? No, I love it.
Well, thank you for coming on. I was thinking a little bit about this since we set this up yesterday. And then I had this weird moment this morning. I was just in my office and I glanced at my bookshelf. And there's this book that I really love. I'm sure you've read it. It was by Pat Buchanan called Suicide of a Superpower.
Yes.
I love all Pat Buchanan's books, but this one was very good. And I completely forgot this. But the subtitle of the book, do you remember it? It was Will America Survive to 2025?
Ugh, that's a good question.
And I was like, man, he really said that. And now sitting here in the end of 2023, I'm like 50-50 shot. We make it.
If that, I mean, it's just profit without honor. You know, as always, there's really no crime that carries a greater penalty than being right ahead of time. I mean, those are the guys, you know, the people who are like forever, you know, predicting some crazy Dow spike or gold at 300 an ounce or whatever, like they're totally fine. Nobody remembers Jim Cramer recommending, you know, many years of bad stock picks, totally fine. But the guy who calls the big picture correctly 2 decades out, you know, he's relegated to his rec room and can never be seen in public again. It's just so...
Because you're A, making the correct call, and B, you're indicting the wrong people.
So perfect.
And if you haven't read the book, it's not just that he's predicting like the decline of America. It's that he's specifically saying that we're bankrupting ourselves, we're destroying our currency, we have de facto open borders, which are changing the makeup of the nation, and you know, that we fight wars all over the world that are completely unnecessary to fight in. So it's not just that he called like the collapse, it's that he specifically laid out the main driving forces.
Oh, I have so many worse Christmas donations. Well, I have one specifically worse Christmas donation than the Shrek to get drunkle with.
For it.
No, it's totally true. And did it in a kind of, I mean, I knew Pat well because I worked with him for years. And, you know, he was always being denounced as a hater and hating this group or that group. And in fact, I never smelled that on him. And I've got a pretty keen nose for, you know, sublimated, suppressed rage. I never felt that on him. He was a cheerful guy.
I was watching Tim Cassie was talking about Texas gearing up. That's not going to happen. Tim is very idealistic about stuff like that happening. It's just not going to. There's no way Texas will secede again. It's just not going to happen. Tim is just a sensationalist. Oh, goody. I can't wait. It is 3279.
And he explained his points in ways that were basically impossible to refute. And that's why they just dismissed him.
Well, he said the thing, because I remember he was always labeled an anti-Semite. And I'm Jewish, you know, and so like I remember like asking at one point, you know, because I really liked a few of his books. I was like, so where's the anti-Semitic stuff? Like, because I haven't gotten to any of that. Like, and usually people who hate the Jews are quite happy to tell you that they hate the Jews. You know, like it's not.
That's the thing. People who are fervently racist, like they claim Internet Historian is, they have no problem letting you know their opinions, their thoughts on certain groups of people. They don't mind letting you know that.
It's like they want to tell you, like you're like, how's the weather? And they're like, the Jews control the weather, you know. And you're like, all right, I wasn't trying to
making it rain.
Yeah, like I wasn't trying to go down that path, but okay. And then the evidence I would
okay, you misheard me. I hate the news. Okay,
I was shown was that he one time during the initial the first Iraq War, the Persian Gulf War in the 90s, he said nobody wants a war in Iraq other than some weapons companies and the Israel lobby.
Yeah.
And they went, see, he's anti-Semitic. And you're like, but That's just objectively true. Like, these were people who were lobbying for. I mean, like, how is that? That makes you a hater. But anyway, it's
and we're actually that's exactly right. And by the way, 30 years later, it's like there's kind of no denying that, and you can argue whether it was a good idea or not, or whatever. I think there are two sides to every argument, personally, but that's not a very controversial thing to say. I think what really wrote him out of Washington, where he literally couldn't work in D.C. anymore, was when he criticized Winston.
Same Frankenbean.
Churchill, and that was completely baffling to me. Again, Churchill's a complicated person. I personally think there are lots of things to admire about Churchill, but you can't say he helped his country. I was in London 2 weeks ago. Like that, they didn't win the war in any meaningful way. Like, he wrecked the country. Yeah. So I'm not English, so it's not my country. But I think it's fair to point that out. And for some reason, that was the red line. You couldn't criticize Winston Churchill. He's not even American.
Yeah, but the blues are amazing, Luna.
Like, what?
Well,
you can piss all over Thomas Jefferson. You're totally fine. But criticize Winston Churchill and like, oh, you're some sort of Nazi or something. And I think Pat partly didn't like him because Pat is a bit of an Irish nationalist. Maybe that was it, or whatever his motive. But like, that seemed like a fair topic of historical inquiry and analysis to me. But no.
Well, I would even go a step further than, I mean, I think people to some degree have been trained to like perceive it. Any type of thought about World War II that is not just the conventional thought means like, what, you must be a Holocaust denier or something. But by the way,
dude, people get mad at me when I said America didn't win World War II. Russia did. People get fucking mad about it. It's insane.
Wait, if you read Pat Buchanan's book, Churchill, Hitler, and the Unnecessary War.
The smallest deviation from what you're taught in school, people lose their fucking minds.
The whole thesis of the book is that the Holocaust happened during the war, and if we could have avoided the war, maybe we could have avoided the Holocaust. So there's like, the thesis is destroyed if you don't believe in the Holocaust. So like, that doesn't make any sense.
America made all the equipment. America did not make Russia's equipment. They gave a Lend-Lease program for some of the equipment. They were using most of the stuff from World War I, and they were doing that before the war even started.
But you get that a lot with Israel as well. Any criticism of the Israeli government, people are trained to assume that must mean you're saying you hate Jewish people. But when you're talking about World War II, you're talking about the worst thing that ever happened in the history of the world. The biggest mass murder campaign in history, all around. I mean, like, in the tens of millions of people died. And the idea that we can never examine that and question, man, was there any way we could have avoided this? Was Danzig really worth all of these people dying? Like, it's just, this is insane.
Danzig was not as good as Jerry Only. I will die on this fucking hill. Danzig is great. Danzig is amazing. Jerry Only was better.
Well, there are three things about the war that I think, I've always had kind of conventional views about everything. I'm hardly a radical or like a true free thinker or anything like that. But there are three questions no one's ever answered in my mind. One, so Churchill committed his country and then we followed to war in Europe in defense of Poland. Fine. Okay, that was his view. But then he handed Poland over to Stalin. We're going to war. We're going to wreck our country. We're going to, join this war where tens of millions will die because the territorial integrity, the sovereignty of Poland is that important. And then you just blithely hand it over to Joseph Stalin? Huh? Like, can someone explain that to me? Second, it's clear there was foreknowledge of Pearl Harbor. It's just...
Okay, now I see what you're saying. They sent a lot of shit over, but the sheer number of that, it pales in comparison.
Absolutely clear. It's like not in dispute. The Senate actually had an inquiry into it during.
And if we're going to go with that logic, then we also help the Germans because we sent them shit too.
The war and kind of concluded that, yeah, we sort of knew. And then it was buried because there was a war on. What was that? Like, why aren't we talking about that? And the third thing that I've never gotten over is that the war kind of ended American culture and Western culture. Like, we haven't produced meaningful art at scale since 1945. Like, everything we produced in architecture, visual arts, music is a little different. I think we have created.
Russia lost so many troops because their tactics suck. Russia lost so many troops because they didn't give a shit. They had so many troops. They practiced decimation, where they would line people up and shoot every 9th or 10th one. They had too many people.
Innovative.
They had more soldiers than the Germans had fucking bullets.
Music in that time, but certainly in the visual arts and architecture, it's just been pure shit since 1945. Really, 1945. Like, something changed at a very basic level.
I will die on this hill as well. Art Deco was the last great bastion of American art.
In Western culture. And like, what is that? I thought we won. Like, why would it destroy our creative impulse? But it did. And why is there not a serious inquiry into that? I don't understand.
Yeah. There's this old Adams quote, and man, I'm going to butcher it, but he said it's something like, if we go around the world searching for wars, we'll become the dictators of the world, but we will lose our own soul.
That's right.
And there's something about that, right? Like happening right away. Like, okay, here's the trade. It's like this. Here's the trade. You know, empire for your soul. And that's kind of the deal. And then of course, that's after World War II springs up the whole, what we know as the national security apparatus today, the creation of the CIA and kind of this whole.
But it's also,
Italy doesn't count. Italy kind of fucked themselves over. And yes, America did defeat Japan by temporarily making it very, very hot.
It does affect us on the level of our souls. I mean, you should not commit violence except in extraordinary circumstances related to your self-defense. And that's true in your own home. Your wife pisses you off, you shouldn't punch her in the face. That's grotesque. It's a crime. And the idea that you sort of wave away civilian casualties or even military casualties as no big deal or the cost of doing business or something we should celebrate is disgusting. And I don't care. Look, I hated Osama bin Laden. He killed 3,000 of my countrymen, including someone I know. But when he was killed, it's like, I'm glad the threat is gone, but I'm not going to celebrate the shooting of another person. And I don't care. Not because he didn't deserve to die, he did deserve to die, but because celebrating people getting shot is bad for me.
I'm not saying Russia walked from Moscow, or no, I'm sorry, Russia marched from Stalingrad to Berlin. They didn't help. They fucking did the thing.
And if you have an entire country that's like, oh yeah, we burned down this city and that's great. No. You should never celebrate violence or you will become a monster. It's super simple. And that's all through the Old Testament, by the way. Everyone's like, oh, the Old Testament's so violent. Really? David, who committed a lot of violence, spends all of his time talking about, oh man, violence is bad. People who commit violence know how bad it is. Talk to someone who shot someone else in war. They're very against violence for a reason. And when we're celebrating it nationally as a culture, I think we've really lost something important.
100%, man. And there's really something, particularly for conservatives, to learn there. This is one of the reasons why I think you're such an important figure. You know, there were these guys like Ron Paul and Pat Buchanan who kind of called everything right and still lost the power struggle to the neocons. And maybe that's because, those type of people grab power more. But there's something about this relationship between our culture and war. And it's like, look, for conservatives who care so much about American, like the history of American culture, when was the first time you really lost it all? Well, it was during Vietnam, right? That's when you have this huge countercultural movement like come up, and it's very easy for that
that was a big one. Yeah. Yeah.
To gain a foothold when you're off celebrating killing a whole bunch of people. And then like, who are you to have the moral high ground in a situation? And just look at the last 20 years. I mean, why is it that just culturally, not just control of the institutions, but culturally, the left has just won every single battle? It's like, well, you know what? I don't know. 20 years ago, the evangelical Christians in this country went all in on, we got to kill 1 million Iraqis for nonsense.
But that's why we lose now. That's why we lose. We have been relegated to the Bush era, now the Trump era conservatives, but always in you're an eater. Always in a professional sense, we are relegated to the Bush era because that was the stupidest era of conservatives we've ever had in this country. That's the second law, Drunkle.
So they completely lost their ability to tell you, oh, this gender stuff is nonsense. It's like, who are you?
Abortion is wrong. I completely agree. But this is all a legacy of a previous period. And my kids are readers, and I said to one of them once, hey, find me 10 great post-war novels, like really great novels. Like, I don't know, it doesn't need to be Anna Karenina, but like 70% of Anna Karenina in the most powerful, dynamic country in the history of the world, our country, since 1945. Find 10 good ones. How about 2 good ones? There aren't any. Find 10 great post-war buildings. Like, something inside us dies. Our creative impulse, which is our life force. I mean, that's what that is. Creativity is life. Something died when we began celebrating violence at scale. I mean, okay.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's take a moment.
All right, that's fine. We'll just stop it there. Fine. All right, that was a good show. I did not mean to get so fucking sucked up into that HbomberGuy video. But, que sera. That will be it for this one, guys. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Thank you for all of the amazing donations tonight. Make sure you are around tomorrow for the Sin and Sash stream at 3 o'clock EST, and then the AAA on Polydub's channel at 5:30 EST. Guys, have a lovely, lovely evening, and I will see you all tomorrow. Good night, guys. And yes, F's in the chat.